Blockbusters. You are listening to the Triple B Podcast. Let's fucking go.
Welcome back to another episode of the Triple B Podcast, Bourbon Belts and Blockbusters.
Yep.
I'm good old TJ.
Mac Daddy Ryan. I don't know what the fuck that was.
I'm
trying it out. I'm trying out new things.
I like it. I like it. Finally, he got the name, guys.
Gotta try things out.
He got the name, Mac Daddy Ryan.
I'll throw a new one out next week too.
Well, Mac Daddy Ryan, we got a cocktail this week.
We do.
I chose this one, and
yeah.
You can find our making of this on our socials, but we are using the Woodinville bourbon whiskey from last week, made in Applewood Staves. We gave this a 10. Both of us did.
So spanking
absolutely
no
loved
hesitation.
it. Said it was one of our favorite,
yes,
probably the favorite.
Fantastic.
So
great bourbon.
Really excited about that. We made the revolver, and what that consists of is this bourbon, 1.5 ounces of that, 1/2 ounce of our coffee liqueur, and 2 dashes of orange bitters, and you can do an orange peel. We didn't have an orange today, so we did not do the orange peel for garnishment. Stir that all up in ice, and then pour over ice. And that's what we got.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
Cheers.
Cheers, man. I'm going to give it...
It's really good.
A 9. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 9. It's really good. I was curious how the flavor of this would pop through, and I think it does come through really nicely.
Yeah, I'm like shocked at how it tastes because I don't know. I just like, it's not what I was expecting it to be. Mm-hmm. Which might seem weird just because it's literally 3 ingredients. Mm-hmm. But it's like still full fucking mouth punch of the delicious bourbon right away. And I don't taste the coffee until after I've fully swallowed.
Yeah. No,
I don't know that I've ever like had a cocktail where it's literally like 2 distinctly different flavors at 2 distinctly different times.
Yeah. No, I get
so
that.
It's literally like, oh, bourbon. Like just like at first I'd just be like, oh, I'm drinking bourbon on the rocks that has been in ice for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a little cut, a little watered down. You take that. I was like, oh. Then I'm like, good morning. That's a coffee smack right there.
Yeah.
No, it's really good. It's really nice. It's delightful. It's good for
And I think that orange pops right at the end too. It goes like in that order: the bourbon, coffee, and then the orange. I really like it.
Yeah, I'll go 8.5. I'm gonna go 8.5 on it.
All right.
I'll go 8.5.
I think that's a solid cocktail.
Yeah, I like it.
Coffee,
and easy.
Coffee and very easy.
Super simple.
So easy. I made the cocktail.
Yeah, check that out on the socials.
Bartender Tim.
Yeah. We are at Trip B Pod on Instagram, X, YouTube, and TikTok. Our full episodes are available on Spotify, Apple, Amazon. Triple B Podcast, Bourbon Belts and Blockbusters, and you can hit us up at our email, triplebpod619@gmail.com. Any type of info, questions, suggestions, anything, we want them, send them to us. We will address it live on the show.
That brings us to our bourbon talk of the show. It's my fact check, so we're gonna go through some things. And
all right.
We fell back into a normal pattern. When it's my turn, we got more than when you go. So we got 13 things to go through. But I think
longer episode last week.
It was longer. I thought these were fun ones to look up though.
Okay,
so
cool. Well, that's good at least.
In our fact check,
fact checkception again.
We were talking about Randy and Cena, and we were just asking about what the record was. And then I brought up that their first match was in 2009, which I was wrong.
Oh, okay.
So their overall record on the main roster, because they did face off one time in FCW it was Florida Championship Wrestling.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
13-7, Cena's favor. He's won 13.
13-7. Okay.
Yeah, Randy's won 7. 2005 was their first match, not
Okay.
2009, and then
That kind of makes more sense.
Yeah.
3 years after they both debuted, both
Yeah.
pushed to big stars at that point.
when I said 09, I was like, that's not right.
I didn't even think about it until you just said 09, and I was like,
that's too
there's
far.
no way it was 7 years after they had both.
But I mean,
you know.
they typically were on opposite brands at
That's
that
true,
time.
because they were like two of the bigger
and that's when the
rising
brand
stars,
split
so.
was a big thing.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know,
That
so,
is true.
So it could have happened, but yes, 2005 was the first, and 2017 was their last match, and now we got tonight.
2020, 8 years ago.
Yeah,
Damn. Or
crazy.
close to 8 years at least.
Yeah. All right. Does hockey and soccer play multiple times a week? Because we were talking
yep.
about all the different sports and how football is once a week, and then
Yeah.
the other sports are multiple. Well, hockey does. They average about 2.5 games a week. And then soccer it was like the MLS mainly plays once a week, but they also have weeks where they do multiple. So they do have weeks where they do multiple games. So you're right. I mean, football is the only one really that was
That's
once a week.
strictly once a week, yeah.
Unless they play
unless it's
Thursday.
yeah.
Which they hate. They've gone on record about that.
Yes.
All right. This one was just a fun one. The exact time Casey Becker dies in Scream, a.k.a. Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
It was 12 minutes, 50 seconds in.
Okay, yeah, so it was right in the middle
Right.
of that 10 to 15, yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's hard to say when she officially dies because she's on the phone, like, kind of gurgling, and then you get the shot of her hanging from the tree, and that was at 12 minutes, 50 seconds.
The shot of her hanging from the tree was.
Yeah.
So, because that's
But she
I
was,
think
like,
that's
making
fair.
noises.
You
and-
can call that because
Yeah.
that's like when you officially know she's dead.
Yes.
Right. So it's like, boom, dead.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
How many DQs and non-finishes have there been since Mania? We taught you you had a qualm with it, and I agreed with you. There's been 6 DQs and 1 non-finish, so 7 non-finishes to matches in
The last 20 days.
Yeah, insane.
Right. 20 days because today's the 10th
Yeah.
and WrestleMania Night 2 was the 20th.
Yep.
And there's 30 days in April. So 20 days, there has been 7 matches that have ended like that.
Yep.
That is
I almost
6 episodes of wrestling.
Yeah.
So 6 episodes
I was
of wrestling.
half expecting there's something to be last night, but there wasn't. So I kept the count going until I finished SmackDown last night.
Yeah,
but
I
there
guess
was
that's
no
true. Yeah.
non-finishes.
So that's literally they're averaging more than one DQ or not finish
There was
an episode of wrestling right now since WrestleMania.
Yep.
Right? Because he said there's 7
Yep.
and there's only been 6 episodes of
Yep.
Raw
Exactly.
combined Raw SmackDown. So that's crazy.
Yeah, and one of them didn't have it. So 7 for 5 shows.
That's true. Yes, yeah.
So crazy.
Wow.
All right, going to yawn count. You said that was my first one, and it was like halfway through the episode. You yawned 2 times before. They weren't big ones. Not like the one that you called the first, but there was
Nitpicking little bastard over
2
there.
little. I had to edit, so I see all that.
I think what I was referring to is that was the first one that interrupted anything, Tim. If I yawn peacefully on my own while you're talking, you just need to be more entertaining to me.
There was one where you did like a smooth transition, but it was a yawn, but you like the way you said your sentence, it kind of just blended.
I'm a smooth yawner.
How long has Gunther been on the roster? We guessed around 3 years. We were right. How many losses has he had since being on the main roster? This one's really hard to find because he has lost a lot of matches via DQ.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's lost a lot of
Like,
tag matches.
tag
but he
matches.
hasn't been the one that took the
Yeah.
loss. But as a single person, as like definitive losses, it's been 4. We talked about him. It was 2 pins, 1 submission, 1 count out. And the 1 count out was Chad Gable The 2 pins was Sammy and Cody, and then the one
Yeah.
submit was Jay.
Yeah.
And then I didn't have to look up the percent of the time he's been a champion because on Raw, Pat McAfee said 80%. He could be shooting out his ass, but 80% is the number taken from Monday Night Raw. So
he's been that's the percentage of the time that he's been on the main roster that he has been a champion.
yes,
That he's held gold is 80% of the
Yeah.
time since he's been on the main roster.
exactly.
In
And then
3 years,
I
that's
mean,
pretty good.
if you
That's
go,
pretty
I would be
good.
curious because he was champion very quickly in NXT UK and NXT, and I would be curious just to see
His whole
WWE
career.
career as a champion.
No, interesting.
Logan Paul versus Jay. We talked about it being a championship match possibly happening in Backlash. We were wrong. There was no match official, and
Yeah.
Logan Paul is not his first title defense because he had a title match on Raw this past
Yeah.
week. But it's definitely leading to a match eventually, Logan Paul and Jay. When did Eddie die? We said 06. He died in 05.
05.
He 05. Benoit died in 07. You did say 07, 08, and then I think you locked in on 07. So Bray and Eddie actually had very similar career lengths. Eddie really started in like WCW in 89, died in 2005. Bray Wyatt started in WWE in 2009, died in 2023. So very similar career lengths.
Yeah,
and
but
you were
Eddie
right
was that-
where Eddie was not really in the main event scene until it was 2004 when he won the title and then died a year later. So Bray was definitely around the heavyweight title more than Eddie was.
For sure.
This one is really quick, but Mark Kerr photo check. You challenged me to look up The Rock and Mark Kerr, and they're like spot. They got it
almost identical. It's
they got
crazy.
it right.
Yeah, and at all of the different transitions of life.
Yeah,
Too throughout
Yes.
that trailer. Right?
Yeah, it was funny
It's kinda
because
wild.
literally after we talked about it, I was scrolling through social, and it was like one of the first things to pop
Yeah, the
up on my
comparison,
line. It
yeah.
was social media listening to me. What movie was I trying to compare 40 Acres to? I said that we've talked about a similar movie, and I couldn't think of the name, but it was Year 10, and it was in episode 22. We talked about this. But it was
yeah.
10 years after civilization crash, and it's like cannibalism going on, and it was snowy-ish atmosphere. And then you brought up the end, and you were correct. You kind of were guessing on what the name of the movie was.
Yeah.
It is called The End.
The end, yeah.
And that was in episode 23. So back-to-back episodes, we were talking about the post-apocalyptic dystopian.
It was 22, 23?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just thinking, I was like, I feel like those might have been in the same episode too, but we probably did a fact check on one.
All right, this
super
one
close.
this one is in fun because it's not an actual fact, but does Sean Bean die in everything? So this is, again, very loose fact, but when I Googled it, the longest list I could find of movies or shows he's lived through is 13 things, and he has 125 credits in IMDb.
125 credits, and the list you found of him living through them is 13.
Yeah.
So 112.
Obviously, there could be more,
Yeah.
but this was like probably his most well-known live-through moments.
I'm not going to do a follow-up
No,
fact
no,
check on
no,
that next week.
like
Just
I said,
so you know,
that one was
This
just a
one's
fun one.
Closed case.
You said you know the name Henry Golding from Perfect Strangers, but couldn't picture him. He played Snake Eyes in Snake Eyes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can now picture him because he's in 1,000 things coming up now. It seems like I've seen and read his name so many times over this last week now. So
He was in A Simple Favor, and he's in the sequel as well. And then Crazy Rich Asians were just the few that were the top of those lists. And then just wanted to confirm, because I said 2000 to 2001. We talked about when Gladiator came out, it was 2000. Just wanted to be specific on that.
yeah,
And that's the fact check.
nice.
Yeah. That brings us to our wellness journey check-in number 19. Ryan, let's go through your successes and challenges and your weigh-in.
Few more challenges this last 2 weeks for me than actual successes, but I think the overall ending for me was an overall success. So not like just this past Monday, but the Monday before, I had gone on a run and I cruised, did a 3.1 miles, did a 5K, and my fastest time, I ran it in like 26.5 minutes or something. It was like an 8:30 pace or something like that. It's the fastest I've ran since I've gotten back into running. It might be the fastest I've ever ran one. I'm not sure. And I don't know if it was actually that run or something else. But then Tuesday when I was at my tennis match, I was walking to the restroom and all of a sudden I just felt like a straining feeling in my left calf. Mm-hmm. I was just like, what the heck? I was kind of like, whatever. And I feel aches and pains all the fucking time. So I was just like, all right, this is another thing, add it to the list. And then I think Wednesday, it was like, I was like, oh shit, like this might actually be something. I might have actually tweaked something and hurt myself. Yeah. And so I did that run. I did yoga 3 class periods with my freshmen. So I did like probably an hour 20 or so total of yoga during that day. And then Thursday I was feeling the calf again and I was like, fuck. So I was like, I'm not going to run today. I took that day off and I was still feeling it Friday. So I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm just going to take the rest of the week. Mm-hmm. And then I went through Tuesday this week and did I go Monday? I can't remember. I went to 9 round one of the 2 days and was good. I felt fine. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So I was able to get back to the gym. I only made it to the gym, the actual gym, once this week. It was that day, but I went on 2 runs also this week. So still was just kind of like, I'm not going to push it. I was like, I'm just going to get the 3 this week because I don't need to overdo anything. So my actual workouts were less over the course of the last 2 weeks. I were, 5 times essentially over the last 2 weeks, where it's usually like 4 or 5 times in a week. Yeah. Right. But it was just like trying to listen to my body and not like push anything unnecessarily and whatnot. And then I also like some food choices and stuff were, especially coupled with the not exercising as much, right? Like I'm still for the most part getting my, like I shoot for 15,000 steps, especially when I'm coaching a day. And I've for the most part getting that, maybe a day or 2 over the last 2 weeks, I didn't get it. Mm-hmm. So like I'm still moving, I'm still staying active, which is good and helpful. And I'm still, watching what I'm eating and stuff, but there were a handful of things. So that all considered, I'm still under 213.
All right.
So I weighed in this morning at 212.9, and it was like right around a half pound up. I was like 212.3 or something like that last time.
You're within that.
Yeah. So I was like, that's practically nothing considering the fact that I wasn't able to be as consistent with my workouts. Mm-hmm. I did make a few, dietary choices that, but that's life, and I'm not going to just be, I'm not trying to be like hella strict, like if we want something, we're going to fucking eat it. Yeah. And yeah, so but that's where I'm at. So I'm like, all in all, I'm good with it. I was like, you know what? I'm still pretty much no change almost for me. Yeah. Which I'm good with. Yeah. So I was like, that's it, all in all, I'm calling that a success. So
that is a success, man. So
just maintenance at that point. So
hell yeah, man. My successes and challenges. I'll start with challenges because I really don't have a lot to really talk about other than I just got some aches and pains that I'm working through. And so I'm trying to push through it, but also listen to it. So it's kind of made some of the workouts I've done a little challenging, but regardless, I still got 9 workouts in this past 2 weeks since we did it last. So that was really the only challenge. The positive things, I started calorie counting. So I downloaded that app you recommended, Lose It.
Nice.
And I'm on a 10-day streak of logging and
dude, that's
everything.
awesome.
And so
Sweet.
it's really eye-opening.
Portions.
Just everything
dude, it's
is
wild.
And just how quickly that meter fills up.
I know.
If you're not making good decisions. So,
and like I said, like once you get rolling on it and you have, like, I mean, I don't know how you normally eat during the week. Like me, it's fairly simple because typically I eat like the same thing for lunch almost every day.
yeah, you're like meal prepping and stuff. Kind
Not
of.
meal prepping necessarily, but it's just, I just eat the same thing.
Gotcha.
Like, I don't like prep it all out
Yeah.
on Sundays. It's just like I eat. Usually, like my typical lunch is like a pack of tuna fish, carrot sticks, an apple, celery sticks. That I'm usually what I'm eating the tuna fish with, like stuff like that. I have dried mangoes in my desk at work. That's like my snack throughout the day, and so it's just like I'm pretty consistent just with how like what I eat because it's easy and I like it.
Yeah,
and so like that type of thing makes tracking easier also, but also it's just like once you continue to add more and more shit into your log, it's just so much faster to be able to just like, oh, it's already there. You type in 3 words and you're like, oh, yep, that's exactly what I had again. Boom. You just throw it in. So
I think I'm learning quickly. It's just, it's easier to just have what you had before to log it quickly. So you're within range of of tracking and whatnot. So very eye-opening, but I think that's been helping me along the way.
Yeah, for sure.
Clothes are starting to get looser. Like my pants are I'm having to go a few notches down, and I'm gonna need some new clothing here soon at the rate I'm going. So
I literally don't have a pair of pants that can use a belt that I can wear without a belt now.
Yeah.
Like I have to, like I was literally like, I was like, shit, I got to find my belt before I leave because I put these jeans on, and I looked at Lindsay and I was like, babe, look at this. And it's like I can pull it out probably like 2 or 3 inches away from my like hip bone. I was like, holy crap, I definitely need my pants to be down to here right now if I didn't have a belt on. So, like, that feels good.
It definitely feels good. And then just being consistent these last 2 weeks. I've been running, been trying to push myself to get a little faster. Yesterday I ran my fastest 5K I sent you.
That's awesome.
Beat it by a mile or a minute. Beat it by a mile.
Tim, that's only 2.1 miles. That's not a 5K.
No, I beat like 6 personal bests, it said, and beat it by a minute. And
that's awesome, man.
Shave it off a minute. That's pretty big, and nowhere near your 26 and a half minutes, but I want to get to at least 30 is what I'm shooting for. So going down to my weight lost 2.4 pounds over these last 2 weeks, down 29.9 pounds, and overall new weight is 233. So
fuck yeah, dude.
Getting closer to getting to the 220s. This
man.
230s hasn't lasted very long.
Hasn't.
Knock on wood, but
for sure.
Like we said last week, I went halfway through.
Yeah, dude. Well, and you think about it too, like the 27 pounds that you had lost before was without even like, you were being more conscientious of what you were eating, obviously, but that was without like actually like tracking it and knowing.
Yeah.
Right. So now if you're like really looking at it, you're like, oh my God, portion size wise.
Yeah.
Holy cow. That puts things into perspective. And then if you're staying under that,
yeah,
that's wild. And I don't know if you looked at like paid much attention when you were setting it up and stuff, but like I have mine set to the weekender.
Yeah, me too.
You too. Yeah. So it's like you have less calorie allotment Monday through Thursday, but then Friday, Saturday, and maybe Sunday too.
Yeah, Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday too. And then it like divvies them up so that you have a little bit more on the days where you typically tend to go out or eat a little more or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, very successful weeks.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome.
Let's keep it going.
Hell yeah, dude. That brings us to belts. 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 Belt. Belts. Without them, our pants fall off. Belts.
Well, Ryan, what do you want to talk about?
Timmy, I got a few things from Raw that I wants to talk about.
Let's talk about it.
First thing up, Paul motherfucking Heyman. Goddamn. That whole sequence was great. I loved it. It was super intense. And it's just like everything that we've said with Seth, it's true.
Yeah.
Like everything he's saying is accurate. Mm-hmm. Like CM Punk. Put him in a shitty situation for being supposedly his best friend. Mm-hmm. Right? Roman Reigns fucking loses. He loses. And then he leaves, and then just leaves Paul Heyman out to fucking dry, just getting destroyed. And then we still don't see I almost said Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns. Too many R's. Then we still didn't see Roman for however fucking long it was.
Till SummerSlam.
Till SummerSlam. And he didn't even come back to avenge Paul Heyman.
No.
It's like, damn, man, he's spitting just straight facts right now. But I think the thing that I loved the most about it was Jay.
He was shook.
He was shook, but he also then was like, "You okay?" like he was still able to like keep it serious, but throw in a like funny kind of comedic relief after that intensity, which just felt like a movie, right?
Yeah.
Where you have like that needed perfectly timed comedic relief in certain tense situations, right?
Yeah.
And I felt like that was good because sometimes we've had things like that where it just doesn't land. And I felt personally, I thought it landed really well. I thought it was perfect. It made me laugh after just being like, holy shit, man, Paul Heyman is going in right now. And then it makes you laugh, but then it drew you right back into then Jay following up.
Yeah.
Because then Jay got fucking intense.
Yeah.
Right? So it was just like, holy shit. Like, I loved the whole thing. I loved the baiting because that's all it was. And then you get the shot in the back. I can't believe he fell for it. It was just like, fuck, man, this is just chess game and they're fucking just moving pawns and they're capturing the shit.
It was a masterclass by Paul Heyman.
God,
we've talked a lot about how good he is, but I was like just emotionally drawn in. He, like you said, talking facts is just nothing but facts. And I was a little worried for him medically. I was like, is he going to have a heart attack? He was pushing it.
His bright red veins are popping out. I'm like, Paul Heyman, you're a hefty man. You got to be careful.
But you felt every emotion coming from it.
Yeah,
almost felt like a shoot, but then you get that shot of him. It worked.
Yeah.
It worked just the way we wanted.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh.
It was great. It was all great. And it literally led me into the main event being like, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen here. Because I'm like, I can't see them having Jay drop the title right now on Raw.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I also can't see them having Seth just take a loss here either.
No.
So I was literally like, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, that was wild.
It was so good.
Next thing on Raw that I got is Lyra and Becky again, dude.
Hell
it's
yeah.
Fucking amazing. This is like you said it last week, and then this just further pushed that narrative and kind of solidified this. Like this is not only the perfect thing for the IC, it's not only the first what feels like real feud for one of the two mid-card women's titles. This feels like one of the better feuds in the women's division since Rhea and Liv.
Absolutely, yes.
Like, if not the best one since that. So it's like this has gotten extremely personal really quickly in a really good way.
And the coolest thing is it's elevating Lyra really quickly.
Really quickly.
Like, we liked her. We thought it was a great pick for her to win the IC title.
Yeah.
But it was missing something.
Yes. For sure.
These last 2 weeks, gold.
Yes.
Just absolute gold.
Absolutely.
And I keep on going, damn, Lyra's like killing it right now. Like,
dude, she's killing
it on the mic. And then just the whole brawl after was so good.
Yeah, it was. And Becky's I love this because I think this is a testament to Becky Lynch and who she is. Takes a year off, pretty much like at her own leisure to come back or not come back, that type of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like WWE had gone on record that they're like, dude, she's being a mom,
Yeah.
you know, like she's taking time to be with her kids. We're not pushing anything, you know, and kid, I guess I said that plural, but so I feel like to a point she might have that kind of pull and sway. I don't know this obviously for sure, but it just seems like she could, to like ask, like she comes back, she wants to be put in that spotlight, and like she wants to be put in the main card, and I feel like if she would have asked for it, it probably would have happened.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is just a testament to the character of Becky Lynch, who she is as a person, and what the business means to her, for her to be like, no, put me in the IC picture with Lyra, let's push Lyra, and let's build this women's IC.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really cool fucking thing for her to. It's very similar to like what Cena did the last couple years with the US and Solo and everything, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Theory,
and it's like really, I think it's just a really cool thing. It's super cool, and like what a perfect just feud for these two, for it to be these two is just it was just timing was perfect, and everything's just hitting on all fucking cylinders, and I'm stoked for that match tonight.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fucking.
This is what
it could steal the show.
Yes, it could. I agree.
It could actually steal the show. It's gonna be tough with the fatal 4-way, but we were talking about it before. This fucking card tonight is a fucking card. Like, yeah, I'm excited for it.
This is what Charlotte and Tiffany needed to be.
Yeah,
Charlotte should have used her status, her character, whether you hate her or like her. She's great in the ring and has the accolades, whether we agree with that, but that's what it needed. This is what should have been done, and it's just so good. Yeah, it's awesome. It's fantastic. I'm stoked every time now I see Becky Lynch. I'm just like, fuck yeah, let's go. Yeah, and then Lyra too. I'm just like, oh my god, this is exciting. It's gold.
Yeah. Next thing I want to talk about on Raw was I really liked the way they did the post-match attack on Io.
Yes.
Roxanne and Julia. Like, I really did like that because it actually did catch me off guard. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like most of the time those types of things are like, all right, because like the camera will be set up a certain way and you're like, all right, something's happening. But it didn't feel like that on Raw this time. It like they had what was a spectacular match.
It was really good.
Absolutely fantastic match. And then the post match, like, respect showing, right? And it was
that
like,
caught me off guard.
I know. And it was like, oh shit, okay. I was like, well, that's actually dope, because they did just fucking ball out in the ring, and they should, you know, that they should have that mutual respect for each other and whatnot. And then for Roxanne to get out and just kind of be looking back and, you know, kind of just give like the nod or whatever to Io. And then the camera cuts and she just gets fucking ambushed from behind. And then it cuts back to Roxanne and that fucking just devilish, oh my God, that devious just smile on her face. And I was just like, oh, damn, that was good. That was good, because I was not expecting that to happen.
No,
they set that up perfectly.
I was waiting for the typical, like, no, I'm not going to shake your hand, because Roxanne has been that heelish character. And then she did, and I was like, cool. Yeah. Cool. And then, like you said, she leaves the ring. I was like, all right, I'm good with it. This is different. Yeah. And then the attack happened. I was like, all right, there it is. But I like how it was done for sure.
Yeah, I feel like, because like you said, Roxanne has been that heelish, you know, character a lot recently. Yeah. And like pretty much everything we've seen of her on the main roster for the most part has been some form of that, right? Yeah. And so then to see that, and then it was like, oh, maybe they're changing something, but then it just boom. Oh, wait, that was a good job of just furthering that narrative as well, of just like, oh, she really is a devious little, you know.
They've been doing that a lot recently. Like I said last week, Nick Aldis called Solo out on being the one that's causing issues for Jacob, and then there was this, and then there was one more where I was just like, oh, that was refreshing.
Oh, yeah.
Now I can't think of it.
It,
but
still,
there's been little nuances that have been really nice.
Yes, it has been happening where it's just like, oh, okay, they're breaking away from like their like main
traditional,
their mainstream kind of folds and whatnot that
Oh,
they
it was
usually
Becky
have.
Lynch saying that she attacked Bailey.
Oh yeah, just outright saying it.
saying
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Not leading us on and
fact
who
check for
did
you.
it? Yeah. So yeah, it was. I really liked that angle that they put there at the end there. I feel like it added a lot, and I feel like that was one that very easily could have just kind of gone under the radar with what all else took place on Raw.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, I got to put that down because I feel like that was it's something that it's better for the shows, it's better for the business than just falling into the same patterns.
Yeah. One more point on
You're
it
good.
is just this is a way you can still have someone lose and still protect a character.
Mm-hmm.
This is a perfect example. It would be easy enough to have Julia come in before the match ends and end it right there.
Yeah.
But they let it end, but still had Roxanne be on top
Yeah.
after all is said and done.
Yeah.
See, it can be done.
We don't need to talk about the fact that it was a roll-up finish, but
We saw a few of those this week.
but regardless. And the final thing I have to talk about on Raw is the obvious. It's the main event. It's what all transpired there. You get Seth Rollins versus Jey Uso for the world title. That title that is like just Seth Rollins just salivates and drools over because he's the one that brought it back into relevancy, right? He was the first one with that title since they reintroduced it in 2023, and he, held it. That's going to be a fact check that I have to do on myself. I think he had the longest reign with it so far. I think he held it longer than Gunther did.
I want to
say he held it for like 170 something days. I don't think Gunther quite made that.
No, I don't think so. And
But-
he held it till Mania,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean, he was...
'Cause-
Oh, no, I think Seth was just short of a year. He held it for longer than 170 something because he got it...
It was shortly after
I think he got it.
WrestleMania.
I think he got it in May. And then I think he held it until Mania.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it was a longer. It was obviously longer because Gunther didn't have that title at
He
WrestleMania
won it
last
at
year.
SummerSlam.
So anyways, I feel like that's just like a further plot point in this whole thing. Is just like that's like Seth Rollins feels as though that is his title. He's the one that kind of curated it and birthed it almost into existence of what it is and propped it up and made it, that highly prestigious thing now.
Yeah.
And he just feels like he's entitled to that and that it's his, right? And so, that's been a large part of a lot of the storylines he's had over the last few years, right? Is that. So I just felt like it was like the perfect setup, especially like we talked about in the opening, the way it was set up to make it happen, just kind of manipulating his way into it.
Yeah.
Perfectly done. And then you have a fucking killer match.
Yeah.
Like this match was fantastic. It probably had no business being as good as it was because if you really, when you break it down, Seth Rollins is head and shoulders above Jey Uso as a performer in the ring, but god damn it if Jey didn't hold his own in this fucking match.
Agreed.
Like he was wrestling.
1,000%
It wasn't just the Samoan 5 moves of doom.
Yeah.
Right. He was actually wrestling. He was putting on they put on a fucking clinic in the ring, and it was great. And yes, while it was one of the 7 finishes that we talked about in the fact check, it was one of the 6 DQs since WrestleMania.
Yep.
This one I'm okay with.
It fits.
Because this one fits. This one 100% fully pushed all of these fucking stories and these threads and everything. Because the DQ didn't happen because they kept swerving around the DQs, right, in this. Because it was like they kept hitting points perfectly where the ref's not seeing what's happening outside the ring, right? Braun Breaker's doing this. Then Sammy comes out and there's all this stuff, right? And then you get CM Punk come out, return with a chair, and just pretty much say, fuck this. He slid in the ring and just just attacked Seth and caused the DQ. So it was just like, oh, I like this because Punk just cost Seth the championship.
Yep.
He might have won the match, but he just cost him the championship. So that is further pushing that entire fucking storyline, which we knew wasn't finished, obviously. Thankfully so, because we love this.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It pushed that. It pushed the Braun Sammy angle too, right? Because that's a fucking killer matchup as well.
Yeah.
And it also in a way removes Jay from this picture now.
Yeah.
Because there was no personal skin in the game when it comes to them.
Yeah.
There's no feud there necessarily. It was just manipulation into pissing Jey Uso off and just being like, fuck it, let's do it tonight. Right. And then now that I feel like this, it was like the perfect setup for such a huge moment and very quickly done to then also very quickly end it. And I think pull Jay back out and lead to the continuance of him and Logan Paul, with Logan Paul obviously attacking Jay after the show and off the air.
Yeah.
Right. So you have Jay get the fucking knockout punch again out of nowhere, like literally out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Right. Because it was like he was like hiding in plain sight essentially. He come out of the crowd, didn't he?
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, so it was just like you get all that. I feel like it was just so perfectly done to set up this like, oh shit, this is out of nowhere. This is happening tonight now. This is like, oh, Seth and Jay are gonna feud now. And then, oh nope, I don't think they're gonna feud. Like I don't think they're gonna feud. I think this is just a one-off thing that was beautiful.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought pretty much from start to finish, I thought Raw was really good this week.
They're on a three week
Run post Mania of just like killing it on
and
the
really
Raw. Yeah.
The big stem is just this whole Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
I
Little
love that
faction,
it's
yeah.
again, I said it I think last week, but I just love how it starts the show, it like it's little seeds throughout the show.
Yeah.
And then bookends with it. It's so
Yeah.
good. But I agree, this match really killed it. This is by far the best first defense for Jay. Like best
Absolutely.
possible first person to
Yes.
defend the title against. You're going against the guy that brought the title back, and he's obviously the biggest nemesis on Raw right now. So it's perfect for that. And then it also just shows that Seth's not done with that title. Like he wants it, he's gonna need it, and that's gonna obviously come back later on once he's resolved these other things.
Yeah.
But they did it perfectly by having CM Punk come out and do all that stuff. So I gotta shout out the pedigree out of the spear was so fucking clean,
dude.
It was beautiful.
So clean. That might be the best pedigree, like spear reversal into a pedigree that we've seen, because we've seen that multiple times, right? Triple H has hit that on Edge before. I think he's hit it on Batista.
I'm sure Roman Reigns.
And then we saw we saw Rollins hit it on Reigns
and that one was really good too,
Mania.
but this one took the cake, man.
Yeah, but this was like Jay fucking ate that. He went into it perfectly, and it was great. Yeah.
And then I agree with you. This was probably Jay's best match, like in a very, very long time. From
as like potentially as a singles competitor.
Yeah. Easily, it was perfect way to do this match, and now we get Logan. Now I can see it where it's. You got a big side storyline going on. Now Jay can go and defend against Logan Paul. So it works. All around works.
Yeah.
I loved it. That brings us over to SmackDown.
I almost had to sneeze there. That just got me off guard.
Are you listening to the dogs out there?
Nope. Was trying to see if looking at the bright light would get it to happen. So I'm not sitting here like this the whole. What do we got for SmackDown, Timmy?
Well, we got this Fatal 4-Way coming up at Backlash with LA Knight, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Jacob Fatu. But I think the real showdown I want to see is Drew Jacob. Like their side promos about each other just
oh my God, I know.
Was so good last night.
Yes.
And obviously Drew is our big heel. And Jacob is obviously siding towards the face, and it's coming, obviously, I think Solo going to betray him. That's in the works, but it's just these two monsters need to go at it, and And we're going to get a little teaser of that in this Fatal 4-Way. So I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, I think we got a little teaser of that betrayal happening on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Right? Because there was the camera work was very well done after that Claymore was hit. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you noticed it, but Solo was very specifically set up leaning on the announce table in the back, just watching it all take place.
Yeah.
And didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel like that's kind of just further planting those seeds.
And then I just want to give a kind of an apology to the WWE where Drew technically won the match, but it was DQ that he won his number one contenders match. So I can see why it's a Fatal 4-Way now and not just a Drew one-on-one.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the story was setting up this Fatal 4-Way, but I was complaining because Drew was the number one contender, but he won it by DQ. So that was one of the
seven. He didn't outright win it.
Yes. So, yeah. Next thing, Alexa Bliss returned.
Fuck yes.
Again.
Yes, she did.
I hope it's for good this time.
I know.
And hopefully not in a tag team again. I want her to be solo or with the Wyatt Six. I was a little disappointed that it wasn't like a reintroduction of the Wyatt Six.
Yeah.
But that could be teased along the way. But the big thing is Alexa Bliss is back on our TV screens, and SmackDown needs it really bad right now.
Yes, they absolutely do.
The title chasing that we have currently is not what we want.
No. And there was a really big part of me that was hoping that they were going to set up it wouldn't be the same thing, but a similar, like Becky Lyra.
Yeah.
I was really hoping that Alexa was going to just turn on Zelina.
It could still happen.
It could still happen.
But
I just thought, like, what better way would that have been to then just be like celebrating in the ring, and then all of a sudden, Zelina's taking a sister Abigail all of a sudden, and then Alexa Bliss holds up the U.S. title. Like, that would have been, I would have been like, what the fuck? That would have been so fucking dope.
What if the coming weeks...
It could still happen.
What if the coming weeks we do get Wyatt Six back?
And they're like haunting
Zelina.
Yeah. That
would be sick.
It would be sick. Yeah.
And it would be a different twist of what's going on with Becky and Lyra, but that would feel big for the U.S. Women's Championship.
And I feel like it also just like it's kind of a similar concept. You have somebody that is like cemented in this industry as a top performer in their category, and instead of having them be gone for as long as she was and come back and getting put into a main title card, go for the fucking mid title and have that reign, and then, you know what I mean? And then just like, and then once you drop that, like we've said, use those mid titles as essentially number one contenders.
Stone.
Yeah. Right, in a way, like obviously not, you don't lose that title and become the number one contender, but you know what I mean? Like it pushes you towards that possibility.
Exactly.
And an eventual match between Alexa Bliss and Tiffany Stratton would be phenomenal.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
A lot of things in the cards.
But definitely a big need for the women's division, and was really excited to see her come out. Next up, Street Profits versus Fraxium. I like how it all got set up.
Same.
The match was so good.
Oh my god.
It was a love-hate with the like rib injury and arm thing. It was kind of oversold, I felt like, but I like how they kept it the same. Like all the other tag teams that were in that later on in the night were all taped up as well. So it does make sense. It was 2 weeks ago, but they got banged up, but the match cooked.
Oh my god.
And Fraxium got a win over the tag champs. You don't see that a lot.
I know.
And
it's our third match.
There was a lot
match of the company. They're 3-0, and they knocked off the tag champs to essentially earn a number one contendership. So
it was so cool. I love Fraxium as a tag team. They're really exciting.
Insane, dude. It's wild.
And it's just one more tag team to add to this loaded SmackDown roster of tag teams. And
I will admit, there was a moment when the Street Profits first came out that I was like, oh, is it going to happen? Because he threw shade at the Hardys, Dudleys, and Christian and Edge.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, what if the Hardys music hits right now? Because they're in TNA and they have that partnership. And I've read a lot of things that is like, oh, the Hardys will compete as a tag team on the WWE main roster before this year is over. Mm-hmm. Right? I've just read a lot of different stuff about that. And I was like, oh my God, he just straight up fucking incorrectly, but he just
I know.
took a shot.
I saw
and I was
that.
like, could it be? And then Fraxian came out and I said, all right, this is going to be fucking dope.
Yeah.
All right, I forgot. I'm good with it not being the Hardys, I guess, because this is going to fucking cook. And Cook did it.
It was, and then just how many times you thought Street Profits were going to win, and then just a last second save. And it was really good.
After the blockbuster.
Yeah.
After that blockbuster setup, I was like, all right, well, that was a good match. And then Axiom, I was like, holy, this motherfucker came out of nowhere. I was like, oh my God.
That was like every one of their NXT matches was like, you're like, oh, it's over. And then he would come out of nowhere. So
it was great.
Be on alert. He comes literally out of nowhere.
Damn. That's how pregnancies happen.
And lastly, we got to just talk about John Cena. He says he's going to ruin our childhood, or our childhood is going to die because he's going to kill the legend of Randy Orton tonight. And just been this promo didn't do a lot for me. It's just been the same thing, but it kind of made me sad. Like, this is the last time Randy Orton and John Cena are going to be in the ring, potentially. Maybe. You know, there might be a follow-up match, but it's just, we're coming to another end of
an era.
End of an era. We saw with Triple H, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and it's just another one of our childhood wrestlers on his way out, and it's crazy to think.
It is. It's wild.
And then I mean, not to take away from that, but then we get a imposter Randy Orton trying to, which I'm assuming is the NXT dude that they're calling Randy's son.
Oh,
it looked similar.
Miles
Miles.
It did. Yeah, I guess. But it was funny though, because as soon as that guy slid into the ring, I was like, that's not Randy Orton. I was like, he wasn't big enough.
Yeah.
I was like, that guy's too small. And then he just ate the FU, and I'm sticking with it. And
trying to beat you to that. It's in my notes.
The FU.
I was going to say FU.
Oh. And then, you get...
Then you get Randy doing
the real Randy.
who wasn't there.
Yeah. Which was a pleasant surprise. I liked that. That was good.
But he's coming out on top,
every
leading
time
into Backlash, which is never a good sign. But you know, they have broke the mold recently, so maybe we do see something different. But
it's true.
John Cena's getting planted a lot these days.
I know.
It's just with the crossroads leading into Mania, RKO week after week. So
it is interesting. I am curious to see. I'm hoping, which I know it's hard because it's like seen as a heel, but at some point we gotta add more to it somehow. That's not just him yelling into a microphone at the TV at the camera, right? Because
agree.
like if it goes past this feud of him doing that and it just continues, it's going to be one of the biggest flops in the history of wrestling with a fucking character change like this, because there's so much potential here. But if they just keep this happening and it's just him fucking doing this week in and week out, it's going to die. And it's just going to be like, okay, it's going to turn into Charlotte almost. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, fuck. So hopefully they can end this, do this, get through this feud tonight, and then work something up where it doesn't have to be him just like, I want to see him actually do heelish things.
Yeah.
Right. We got the nut shot. We got a couple now, one actual or two actual uses and one or two other attempts at using the title as the weapon. But like, I want to see actual heel things. Yeah. You know, I want to see him in a feud with somebody, him interfering in the match causing DQ. But like, I want to see him actually like doing those things that a heel actually does, not just coming out and berating the audience.
He needs to do an actual like beat down.
Yeah, I know. I want to see him actually
Yeah.
destroy somebody.
No, I agree. I fully agree because it's almost getting stale already. If it wasn't for Randy Orton in this feud, would we be as excited if it's the same old thing, you know? So
I'm calling this right now. John Cena's first post Cody beatdown, like heelish beatdown, R-Truth.
oh yeah. Yep.
That would be the thing.
That would be the
that
heel
would
move.
be the thing that would put him. That would just add to this more because it's like everybody fucking loves R-Truth.
They're
John
egging it
Cena
on
is
every week.
yes, and John Cena is R-Truth's childhood hero, right? And he's just like the number one fan, and it would be the perfect thing for Cena to just fucking destroy R-Truth backstage, drag him out to the crowd into the ring, destroy him out there, that type of thing.
I like that idea. Yeah. Should be an interesting show tonight for sure.
For sure.
That brings us to Banger of the Week.
The banger.
Ryan, what do you got?
I had a hard time going back and forth here.
I got to say this has been the hardest one to choose.
Yeah,
a banger.
because I had a match specifically.
Okay.
But I actually didn't go with that. I'm going a little bit outside of the box here.
Okay.
I'm saying Raw as a whole
I like
is my banger of the week. And it's because I feel like this is the most complete Raw episode of Raw that we've gotten. Not just since Mania, but in a long time. Like this, it felt I was in it the whole time from start to finish, and it was, I don't know, it just felt like everything. It didn't feel like there was much filler of any kind on the show. It was just like pushing story plot points almost the entire way through and building stuff and pushing towards Backlash and just like this and that and everything. So I was just like, I don't think we've ever given a full show as a banger. So I was like, I'm gonna do something new on it on here. I'm going.
I agree. I think
going with Raw as a whole.
I think it was probably one of their best efforts to do a go home show to Backlash, and it really fed into that for what matches they have going on, and then planting seeds for more storyline down the road. So
For sure.
very, very well done. I had like 5 or 6 things, potential bangers on my list, and I was struggling to dwindle it to one, but I'm gonna do it. It's Jordan Grace versus Julia at NXT. The match was so good.
All right.
There's a couple botches, but they were devastating botches, and luckily Julia worked through them. Like, she had 2 moves done to her where it looked pretty bad, where it landed on her neck, head. But it kind of fed into the match, and it was a killer match. And now Jordan Grace is the number 1 contender for the NXT Women's Champion, so that's exciting.
Stephanie Vaquer, right?
Yep, against Stephanie Vaquer.
Wonder if
be.
Jordan Grace takes it and Stephanie Vaquer gets moved to the main roster.
I think that's what's in the works because she's just so over right now.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Her meteoric rise has been amazing to watch. So
Yeah, because it's been in a short period of time too that she's been in the WWE. Right?
it was like right after Takeover last year she showed up.
Yeah.
And which brings us to the belts question of the week. I posed this one. I saw this as a question posed online, and so I thought I'd carry it over to our podcast. Who, in your opinion, has been the worst WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and why? And I put this I did on my own. Has to be from 97 to current, because that's kind of roughly when we got into it. Can be any of the various main titles, so the World, Undisputed, Universal, etc.
As long as it's one,
But one of it's the World Heavyweight title. What do you got?
I had a hard time picking this because there are I feel like 2 blatant that really stick out to me.
Okay.
And so I have them both written down, but they're for different reasons. And I think the one does outweigh the other. But I kind of want your take on this.
Okay.
And obviously not knowing what your answer is. Vince McMahon in 99.
Okay, I disagree.
and the Great Khali.
Okay, I agree.
Ever, just in general.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason why I said Vince is because it, storyline wise and with everything that was taking place, it made sense, sure, whatever. But it also was, in the grand scheme of kind of wrestling, it kind of, you could argue, I think, and I'm not necessarily saying I feel this way, I'm just saying I feel like you could argue, and I'm sure there's an online community somewhere that does and has, that it kind of makes a mockery out of what the world title means when you have somebody like Vince McMahon, who is one of the least athletic individuals in the history of life, winning a title like that.
Yeah.
Over someone like that. You know what I mean? Of someone that caliber. Granted, yes, Shane was the ref, and like there's a lot of stuff, and it was the whole heel thing, and so like storyline wise, yes, it made sense.
Yeah.
But that's why the Great Khali is the one that I think outweighs it for me for sure, because it was just like, the Great Khali might be one of, if not the most boring character in the history of professional wrestling. Mm-hmm. Almost every fucking storyline he was involved in was just like fucking A. Every time his music hit, I rolled my eyes. It just like nothing about him was believable. He was terrible in the ring, like absolutely god awful. I would rather watch Nia Jax wrestle.
I would too. I would.
And yeah, so it's just like I think the Great Khali definitely takes the cake over the two.
I would just say, well, yes, I agree with your points. Vince McMahon, it fed into the story.
Yes.
It fit very well. Yeah. So,
but it also, I think the other thing too that makes it a little bit more of kind of a sour taste is the fact that he didn't even lose it; he vacated it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like that. I feel like to that point I was making, or that potential argument that you could maybe make, almost just like adds insult to injury of the fact that then he just vacated the title, didn't even lose it in a match or anything. So it's like you won it in the first place, having no business doing so, and then that. I don't know. It just kind of, there's like a sourness to that for me, even though the storyline at the time with Stone Cold, everything, it was fucking killer.
Yeah.
But it still just, when you really think about the worst or best champions, like that's the kind of thing I feel like you could be like, yeah, that's kind of a shitty thing, even though the storyline was great.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, I 100% agree.
But the Great Khali, 100% for me is like, yeah.
But I think the WWE would agree, just whether we hate it or like it, as long as anyone's talking about it and buying into it, that's all that matters. So they don't care about pissing us off
for sure,
or making us happy.
Yeah, for sure.
I have one definitive answer, but I was looking at the list of champions. I'm like, well, there's Jack Swagger, but at that time that was different, and you could see him as champion, and I like that. And then there was he was one Jinder Mahal,
where 100%
where I was
popped
like,
in my mind.
It was a boring reign, but at the time, again, very different.
But that was also a time where wrestling was very boring.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that was kind of at that height of that point where it was just kind of like that lull of, here we go again. Vince at his best.
But what I liked about it was you did not see it coming.
Yeah.
That one was so I took him off the list. So Great Khali is
the Great Khali is yours too.
Is the worst. He had no business being anywhere near the title.
No.
I will give them credit as they gave it to him pretty early on, where we didn't get to see a lot of it.
Yeah.
It was just so quick, but again, absolutely did not deserve it.
No.
Did nothing for the title. It was just the worst.
Yeah.
One of the worst champion in the history of WWE, in my opinion.
Yep. Mine as well. Good question. I like that.
That brings us to
Blockbusters. Crisp again. Nailed it.
We got movies.
We do.
You post this one.
I did. We got Echo Valley. The synopsis for this is Kate is a mother struggling to make peace with her troubled daughter Claire, a situation that becomes even more perilous when Claire shows up on Kate's doorstep, hysterical and covered in someone else's blood. As Kate pieces together the shocking truth of what happened, she learns just how far a mother will go to try to save her child. The cast of this is Sydney Sweeney and Julianne Moore. Julianne Moore is the mother, Sydney Sweeney is the daughter. The release date will be June 13th of this year, and it will come out on Apple. Once again, Apple back at it, just dropping fucking banger after banger after banger, and I'm fucking stoked about this. It looks,
big names.
Oh my god, I know. And the trailer for this, dude, looks fucking intense as all hell. It looks wild. It's super cool to see these two in these types of roles, I think. And the premise of it is actually kind of similar to a few things we've talked about, but more recently, the Road, the one where they're like their daughter gets in the car accident, and then like the whole thing is them driving. Right? It's not the same idea, but it's the same idea in the sense of like it seems like parents are doing everything they can to protect their kids, right, and cover something up potentially. Yeah, and so that's definitely what you get in the trailer for this. Like the synopsis, the trailer definitely gives you much more than the synopsis does. Yeah, right. Essentially, in the trailer, you get Sydney Sweeney's character admitting that she killed her boyfriend and because they got into an argument and she had hit him with a rock and everything, and then like the mom is like literally goes to extreme lengths of fully trying to cover this up. Yeah, and then it's like questions are popping up and people are popping up and things are happening. Yeah, it also has a similar feel for me to the show Your Honor with Bryan Cranston, which I've talked about on here before. It was the Blockbusters question. It was like what was a movie or show that you wanted a continuance of. Yeah. And that was that one because it ended after I think 2 seasons and whatnot, but it's picked up steam again on streaming. Oh, okay. And it's essentially his son gets in a car accident, kills a kid. Yeah. And then runs. And then he's a judge. Bryan Cranston's a judge, and then like he goes through extreme lengths to cover it up and stuff too. So it's similar concepts, just different like levels of like stature and like jobs and stuff, right? So and yeah, man, I'm excited.
I'm really excited for this one. It's just a suspense thriller. Love those kind of movies. The water scenes in the trailer just like so uncomfortably like Lord, what's gonna happen obviously are not gonna show, but it's just like I already can feel myself getting tense when I'm gonna watch this. Yes. And then the friend or whoever, that blonde hair guy, kind of gave me like Purge vibes, and he's like outside the door and everything. And
holy cow,
I like it, and I want to know where this is gonna go. So
yeah, I'm stoked.
This is gonna be a good one
because it's like a trailer that you feel like you get a lot, but also very little. Yes, right. Like you're like, oh, I feel like I just got a lot of information, but I also have no fucking idea where this is gonna go. Which is, I think that's when a trailer is done well. Yeah, yeah.
All right, I got Honey Don't on here. Synopsis: dark comedy about Honey O'Donoghue, a small-town private investigator who delves into a series of strange deaths tied to a mysterious church. Cast is Aubrey Plaza, Chris Evans, Charlie Day, Margaret Qualley. Release date is August 22nd, 2025, and this is going to be in theaters. It's you got like a murder mystery going on, but it's also got comedy to it. You got Charlie Day.
Aubrey Plaza,
and then Chris Evans. You know, he's definitely fits well into that comedy role, and so it's just it's kind of got a throwback tone to the movie
for sure.
Margaret Qualley's on the rise. We saw her in The Substance, and so it's just I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, me too.
It looks like good mystery. It looks violent.
I love a dark comedy. Yeah, we've talked about a handful of them recently as well on here, and I'm added to the list.
They're on the rise right now.
I know. Theaters. Yeah, it's not even going to streaming. This one's out in theaters.
We're getting some some momentum here on these dark comedies,
and I'm stoked about that. Bring them back. Keep them coming. We love it.
It's going to be a good one.
Yeah. Got The Old Guard 2 also coming out.
Quick question: is this a sequel or that's just? Okay.
Yeah, it's a sequel. Yeah. The Old Guard was a Netflix movie with Charlize Theron and everything.
How come?
So synopsis for this is: with Booker still in exile after his betrayal, and I think it's Quinn.
Yeah, I would think so.
I think it's Quinn. I'm not sure how else to pronounce that. Out for revenge after escaping her underwater prison, Andy grapples with her newfound mortality as a mysterious threat emerges that could jeopardize everything she's worked towards for thousands of years. Andy, Niall, Joe, Nikki, and James Copley enlist the help of Tua, an old friend who may provide the key to unlocking the mystery behind immortal existence. The cast of this is Charlize Theron, Uma Thurman, Kiki Lane, Marwan Kenzari, Luca Marinelli, the one that eludes me all the time, Chiwetel Ejiofor. I want to say the J is silent.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, though. Veronica Ngo and Matthias Schoenaerts with Henry Golding. This will be released July 2nd, and it will be out on Netflix, as the first one also was.
Nice.
Trailer to this looks fucking badass. A lot going on. A lot of... I don't know. It almost has like a Eternals kind of vibes to it in a sense, right? Where there's just like the thousands of years of history, and you kind of like get to see some of that played out and whatnot. You get to see Uma fucking Thurman back in what looks like a killer role. She's big bad in this, which is exciting. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I also haven't seen the first one.
Yeah,
so this is one that after watching the trailer to this, I added to my list. I was like, I got to go watch the first one now because the second one looks badass. So yeah, I'm in the dark just as you are. I just knew from reading about this a little bit more about the first one.
Yeah,
but I don't know anything like story wise. I'm assuming the Quinn, or however you pronounce that, is potentially the bad from the first one.
Yeah,
because it says out for revenge after escaping her underwater prison. So I'm assuming that takes place in the first movie. Yeah. I don't know, but we will know by the time this one comes out, because I'm sure we are both going to go watch the first one probably within the next couple weeks.
Yeah, agreed. It was really cool seeing Uma Thurman wielding a katana again.
Yeah,
like in Kill Bill. She can still handle herself.
We got a badass fight scene with the sword fight between the two of them. So
yeah,
and there obviously seems to be, like I said, they're going to go through centuries of history, where it seems as though Uma Thurman is like the original immortal. Yeah, almost, right? And that like she has been watching this group for a long time, type of thing. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm excited.
It's gonna have some badass fight scenes in this for sure. So
absolutely,
should be a good one. That brings us over to the series side of things.
Sure does. I put this on here also. This is Stick. The synopsis is: in Stick, Owen Wilson stars as Price Cahill, an over the hill ex-pro golfer whose career was derailed prematurely 20 years ago. After the collapse of his marriage and getting fired from his job at an Indiana sporting goods store, Price hedges his bets and future entirely on a troubled 17-year-old golf phenom named Santi. The cast is Owen Wilson and Peter Dagger. The release date will be June 4th, and it's also coming out on Apple Plus. Just dropping shit left and right. Trailer for this looks awesome. It looks like, like classic Owen Wilson at his best type of work. And yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for it. I think it's a new take, because this is something I feel like you would typically see done in a movie, right? So I'm excited that it's a show where, again, we've talked about the difference between them. Like some things are set up perfectly for movies, some things are set up perfectly for series, and I think this one can definitely lend its hand to a series really well. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
Definitely, it definitely has Owen Wilson. Yeah, he like casted well. I like him in anything he's in, and then. It reminds me of a little bit of Ted Lasso, which is also an Apple Plus show. So
yeah,
I'm excited for this one. Should be good.
Yep, stoked. Fred Robin. Oh wait, that's not the right thing. That brings us to Fred, which is our follow-up rumors and early development segment.
We got the official trailer for Together. We got the teaser, which was crazy, and then you get the official trailer.
It made me like this. It was like legit, and I think that's the point of it, right? It like is genuinely uncomfortable to watch.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Genuinely, like unnerving and just kind of rattles you. And it's kind of one of those things where like after you watch just the trailer, I don't even know how the fuck we're gonna feel about watching the actual movie, but it's like just watching the teaser and then just watching the trailer. I feel like it's one of those that just kind of makes you sit there and contemplate life for solid 30 seconds afterwards, where you're just kind of like, what the fuck? What is happening?
Yeah.
How does somebody come up with this type of thing?
No kidding.
It's crazy. Like,
Yeah. And it definitely was a turn from what the teaser gave, as in, I thought they're a happy-go-lucky couple from the teaser.
Yeah.
And then in this trailer, you find out they're not doing so hot.
Much. Yeah.
But they are coming together. I don't know. It does. It's exact. You hit it on the nail. It's just, it looks unnerving.
Yeah.
It's going to be an uncomfortable watch. It's definitely going to be a slow burn movie, and you're just going to be like, what the fuck at the end of the...
On edge the entire way through.
Yeah, and you're going to be just
sure.
saying, what the fuck at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that one. Highest to lowest. There's not a lot of details on it, but another teaser trailer, and I brought it up just because we talked about Denzel's coming to the end of his career, and he was listing off some projects he was going to do, and this is the next one he's doing with Spike Lee. He's previously done Malcolm X and then Inside Man, and those movies were phenomenal. So the teaser didn't give away a lot, but it looks like it's Denzel in typical fashion, almost kind of like a training day kind of vibe.
Yeah.
The way he was carrying his character through it.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good pull.
And so, I didn't get a lot from this, but it's Spike Lee and Denzel Washington, and
so
I'm there for it.
Yeah,
I'm there for it.
Say no more. Yeah. I will be watching this
yeah,
for sure. Especially knowing that it's one of Denzel's last projects too. I think just kind of adds more, little fuel to the fire here for any of these things that he is going to end up putting out. Or is just like, kind of weird to think of, but it's kind of like you're watching history in a sense, right? You're watching the end of his career.
Exactly.
So it's pretty cool.
And he's calling a shot, kind of like John Cena. And you don't really get that a lot.
Yeah, you don't. You really don't get
hear
that.
About people going, this is going to be my last movie.
Yeah, it's so true. That's another really good pull there too, because that it really is. That's a very true thing. You don't really hear about people in the entertainment industry just being like, I'm going to do this and then I'm done. Like you hear about it a lot. I shouldn't say entertainment industry because you hear it a lot in music, but then it never actually happens. We're doing our farewell tour. We have the fucking Foreigner, Journey, Rolling Stones. They've all done 17 farewell tours. Like, the fuck?
It's so true. The fuck.
The fuck.
Conjuring Last Rites. We get our first look at the teaser for this.
This is my favorite horror franchise outside of Halloween.
Yeah.
For me. So, like, especially Paranormal, this is easily my favorite. It's such an intertwined franchise, and they have so many offshoots and things but they're all connected. And so I'm been fucking looking forward to this, and I'm so excited.
The teaser trailer did not disappoint.
Oh,
I think I think we could all agree number 3 wasn't as good as 2 and 1. It was still good, but this looks like return to form, and it looks so good. And then it's and I like the little caption. This is why it was this is their last case,
Yeah.
So I'm so excited for this one.
I know.
Me so too. Excited.
I'm stoked. Like I said, I love these movies. I think the cast of them are all phenomenal. With Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga.
Yeah.
They're both just fantastic in these roles, and they have played the roles of Ed and Lorraine Warren so fucking well over the last decade.
Yeah.
Now, I'll fact check for myself. I don't remember when the first Conjuring movie came out.
Yeah.
But it was somewhere around me ending high school and starting college. I know that. So a little over 10 years now that they've been doing this. And yeah, dude, it's coming to an end.
Yeah. But
We got a lot of really things that are coming to an end for us, Tim. I don't know how I feel about it.
But I've heard a lot of things that, the Conjuring universe will still kind of be expanded upon later on, just without Ed and Lorraine.
Yeah.
And everything like that. And I think they did a good job of just talking about that in this teaser trailer, going over thousands of cases, and it went through their basement and just showing all the different cases that they've worked on. So it could expand past this. But the story is it's their last case, and this movie is going to be a banger.
Yeah, for sure. All right, this is one that is just in development. It was announced just recently. It is a Peacock comedy series starring Amy Poehler from the co-creator of Parks and Rec, Mike Schur. So you got Amy Poehler and Mike Schur reuniting, and I mean probably one of the most successful TV comedy series over the last 20 years in Parks and Rec. And so it's exciting to see them reuniting. But the log line for this show, and this is all of the information that we have for it so far, outside of the name and the fact that Amy Poehler will be in it, is 4 women working at an archaeological dig in Greece are at wildly different crossroads in their lives. When the team uncovers a long-buried secret with the potential to rewrite history, they find themselves at the center of a high-stakes international conspiracy. And again, it's a comedy series, so I don't know. I'm excited. Just the sound of it sounds dope to me, because I'm like, okay, this is new for sure. Our archaeologists, right? And haven't really seen a comedy show like this, at least before. And I don't know why when it says like long buried secret, center, high stakes international conspiracy, it kind of gives me Space Force.
Oh yeah.
Kind of vibes. Not that there was like an international conspiracy or anything necessarily going on in that show, but it just kind of like, when I read about it, just kind of like made me think like, oh, because there's going to be like government stuff involved, and there's going to be like different aspects of stuff like that involved in all of this. And I'm excited to see the casting, to see who's joining Amy Poehler on this ride, because I mean, she could literally ask anybody and they would probably say yes and join her on this, because that's just who Amy Poehler is. And she has those capabilities and those ties to so many fantastic, not just comedic, but just in general, actors and actresses. So excited to see who the other 3 women in this that are going to make up the primary cast. And it says they're at different crossroads in their lives. So I'm wondering if there's going to be age discrepancies.
Oh, probably.
There's going to be, I'm sure there's going to be all sorts of different things that are going to play into the craziness of what the show will be. So I'm excited.
If you didn't have Amy and Mike Schur part of this, and you just read that log line, you're like, oh, this is going to be serious. And then,
I know.
But then,
right?
But then you have those two, and so it's gonna be a fun ride.
And I think that's why I have a little bit more vibes of like Space Force, is because like you think of the premise of Space Force, and it's about like it's about the government side, military side almost of space, and you don't think of that as a comedy thing, right?
Exactly.
So I think that's kind of where I'm like, that's where my mind went there. I guess.
No, that's a good.
It's because I'm just
call.
like they're taking something that sounds very serious, but they're gonna spin this into a comedy, which I think is awesome.
Excited to see Amy Poehler return to a TV series.
The last time she was on a TV series was Parks and Rec. So
this is gonna be good.
I'm excited.
That brings us to our special segment of the week, Toasted or Trash. It's the segment where we select a movie for each other to watch and then let us know if it was toasted or trash, and guess if the person thought it was toasted or trash.
Heck yeah.
Ryan, I selected Bodies, Bodies, Bodies for you. This came out in 2022. Synopsis is, when a group of rich 20-somethings plan a hurricane party at a remote family mansion, a party game turns deadly. What'd you think?
Didn't really like it. It was a lot in a lot of different ways. A lot of, I think there were some storylines throughout that seemed forcefully politically driven in certain ways. And I was just like, oh God, it was just like overtly. I was like, oh man. And I don't know, just like the whole way I didn't mind the kind of swerve at the end. That part, just because of Pete Davidson, I guess, it's probably that part did make me giggle a little bit. But I don't know, just like I felt like the whole thing was just like I felt like I was sitting there watching an episode of one of Lindsay's reality shows.
Oh,
where it was just constantly like screeching and bitching at each other, and I was just like, oh my Lord, throughout the whole thing. So I'm saying trash, and I'm guessing you thought it was trash, but I don't know.
I did lean towards trash.
Okay.
I almost went heater because of the end. This was a first time watch for me as well. When I selected for you, but I agree there was just too much going on. It was just annoying.
Yeah.
To a point. They could have done a lot less, and I think it would have worked.
Yeah.
But it was just screeching and
I know, and I think because of all of that, what led to then like the fact that you find out pretty much nobody was, outside of I guess the one dude, nobody was like truly murdered. Like really, one was a accidental struggle for a gun.
Yeah,
and the other one was self-defense.
Yeah,
right. The last one over the railing. Right.
Yeah.
That was self-defense. So really, just the kettlebell.
Yeah,
was really the only true. But the murder of, in a sense, but that also was like they thought he was attacking them, so she was trying to just protect them.
Yeah.
So it was also kind of in a way self-defense.
I thought the twist at the end was what brought it together, and I thought there was a twist to it, and it's not what I thought it was, and it did make me laugh, and it just
that part, yes, but then I thought it then almost immediately detracted from all of it with the actual final scene.
Yeah.
I thought the actual final scene was just like, what the fuck? They could have not had any of that.
Yeah.
It was unnecessary. I feel like it totally just took me out of it then after.
Yeah.
And because it was like, they could have simply ended it with looking at his phone and seeing what actually happened. And then just kind of like looking at each other like, what the fuck did we do?
Yeah.
And then it could have ended there.
Yeah.
And it would have been fine without having the one dude that you hadn't seen once before show back up. And then I have service. And that's how it ended. I was just like, what? So yeah, I don't know. It was just like that on top of just kind of all the other stuff. And
none of the characters I liked at all.
No, there was
not
nobody
one
at all. Not a single one in there was one that you were like you cared about. And
anytime I felt like they did something quickly thereafter where I was like, fuck them. Like so I'm leaning towards a trash. So A24, sorry. Body's not great.
No.
Which is crazy. It has pretty good reviews, like Rotten Tomato reviews.
Really?
So I was really excited about it. The concept was cool. It just did not deliver.
Yeah. I think the concept's a good, solid premise. It just, I don't think it was done very well.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Timmy, what I gave you was Mystery Men. Came out in 1999. The synopsis for this is a group of inept amateur superheroes must try to save the day when a supervillain threatens to destroy a major superhero and the city.
This was a first-time watch for me.
Was it really?
Shocking.
Oh, I 100% would have guessed that you had watched this before, but that's why I gave it to you, just because I was like, I'm pulling one back out from the recycle bin or whatever you want to call it, because it came out fucking 36 years ago.
And this movie was always on my radar, and I just never took the time to watch it. Or when we were going to watch it, just something came up and didn't happen. And I remember my brothers talking about it a lot.
26 years ago. Sorry, I stand corrected. I said 36. I was like, wait, I'm only 31. And I was born in 93. That doesn't make sense. Sorry, continue.
But yeah, I remember my brothers talking about it, quoting it a lot. And so I was really excited to watch this one. And overall, I think it hit the spot. It was funny. It was making fun of the superhero movies coming. It had a lot of Batman Robin vibes from what I saw, which came out 2 years prior to that. And you got a great cast of comedians in this, and just over the top cheesy. Fits right up my alley. I'm gonna say you thought it was toasted, and I thought it was toasted.
Absolutely. It's funny because Nathan actually is the one that like put this back on my radar again, just like last week. And because he texted me, he was like, dude, did you ever notice that? I forget the villain's name, the bad guy in it.
Casanova.
Yeah, Casanova, Frankenstein. Yeah. He was like, did you realize that Casanova Frankenstein from Mystery and Men is Captain Barbosa?
I was trying to picture what he was from.
I mean, no, I never put those two things together because I haven't watched Mystery Men in forever. But I was like, holy shit, yeah, that's accurate. And he goes, oh yeah, me and Tally just watched that the other day, and it just popped in my mind. And I was like, I'm gonna give that to Tim for Toasted or Trash on our next one, because I was like, I want to watch that again anyways. And yeah, I've always loved this movie. I think Kel Mitchell has always been has a near and dear place in my heart when it comes to comedy, just because all that and Keenan and Kel growing up in Good Burger, and I've loved most of everything I've ever seen him in. And so this was just another one where it's kind of at that height of his stuff, and he was fucking perfect in this movie.
So much.
There are quite a few people in that though. Like Paul Rubens is in it, and I don't know. It was just I really liked it.
It was a fun movie.
I'm shocked you hadn't seen it though. That makes me so happy that this was the first time watch, because I 100% was like, I'm gonna give you one that I know we've both seen. That was where I was going. I was like, this is gonna be a first, because I don't think of outside of Rollerball and the other one that we did that I gave you that time, Celtic Pride. So I think Rollerball was the first, and until. Well, the first one, I think, still for Toaster or Trash that we'd both seen before.
Yeah.
But I thought this was going to be number 2, because I just assumed you had seen this. So that's awesome that you hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah,
that's dope.
Brings us over to Blockbusters question of the week. Ryan, you posed this one.
All right. It's not actually a Blockbusters question per se.
It's an entertainment.
It is an entertainment question. It is a blockbuster question, though, around the world right now. And that's why I posted it here. I wrote, it's not specifically blockbusters, but this question has flooded social media, destroyed friend groups, and has made bitter enemies amongst the greatest of friends. We thought the Sokovia Accords would destroy the Avengers, but this question could actually do it. That was a good premise for it, right?
I like it.
And I tied in some.
Why don't you write the blurbs?
100 men versus one gorilla, Tim. Who do you think wins? Let's hear it.
The gorilla wins, and I volunteer as tribute to just go first and get it done quickly, please.
All right. Well, that didn't go how I thought it was going to go. I didn't know we were going to be on the same side of this. But
that's because there's no destroying this friendship. The Sokovia Accords cannot keep us apart.
It's true. It's very much true. So I wrote a handful of things down here because I thought we might be debating.
Okay,
here, but we're not. So I'm still just going to read you my argument points.
I want to argue away,
because I too think the gorilla wins. And here's the thing. I typed this in. I asked ChatGPT. I asked Gemini. I asked. There's another fucking AI thing that I've used before, and I typed it into all 3 of them, and they all came back and said that the 100 men would win. And I still think that's fucking bullshit, because I think there are a handful of things that are not being taken into consideration here. First thing I wrote was gorilla wins. Second thing I wrote, A gorilla has nearly the double the bite force of a human. At 1,300 pounds per square inch, a gorilla can bite. Okay? That's just one thing I want to throw out there. All right. They also have the carnivore teeth.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they got the sharp fucking teeth. Okay. This is just a small fraction. Okay. A gorilla can throw up to 1,800 pounds. Can just throw up to 1,800 pounds. Mm-hmm. That's 1.5 tons.
Yeah.
Okay. No, sorry. That's under 1 ton. Sorry. 1 ton's 2,000 pounds. I'm fucking myself up. Nonetheless, just under a ton. The average U.S. male weighs 199.8 pounds. That is 11% of the max that a gorilla can throw. 11%. That means he could almost throw 10 humans at the same time. Just throw them.
That's insane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Almost 10. Gorillas are 4 to 10 times stronger than human beings. So even just 4 times stronger is already crazy. Okay. The most common argument that I see for this across all the different social media and podcasts and just at school and my coworkers and just everything that I've heard and seen this and talked about this from. One of the primary argument points for men winning this that I've seen is picking and choosing specific groups of men to be in this. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's realistic. I don't think you get to just handpick the 100 men going against a gorilla, right? So I think it's just like it's 100 average men against one gorilla.
Yeah, I thought
that's how I take it. That's how I think it should be taken. You don't get to just go pick like, all right, we're gonna take the every top 100 Hall of Fame defensive linemen in their prime.
No, because then you're putting,
and even then,
I still think they lose.
I don't know that they win.
You got to put into perspective. There's got to be fear.
That's my next
Fear.
next fucking
You're telling me
that's one of my next points here.
100 men, all of them have no fear against this girl. That's gonna definitely play a part.
And I think this is my driving home point here. I think it is ignorant to assume that 100 men would be organized enough to do this strategically. First,
agree.
Said this is not a scenario where the men get training camp beforehand. They're not like going on a fucking getaway where they're training and preparing and planning this out. This scenario is like you just get 100 dudes and you put them in an arena against a gorilla.
Yeah.
Right? Or a jungle or a street. I don't give a shit the location, to be completely honest. I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
You're not going to have 100. I'm in a department with 9 people where we have planning time regularly to discuss and figure shit out. Do you know how long it still fucking takes us to get shit? And this is shit that we do. This is our career. Yeah. Okay? Fighting a gorilla is nobody's fucking career. That doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Okay? The last thing I wrote was, I also truly believe that fear is a commonly forgotten factor in this scenario.
That's the first thing that came into my mind.
A gorilla is a wild animal. This is not a gorilla that has been tamed in a zoo. This is a wild gorilla. Because again, I don't think you get to put those fucking factors onto this.
This is the question. 100 men versus one gorilla. Who wins? That's the question.
That's the question. I don't think you can put a bunch
parameters
of parameters
on it with the questions
exactly.
asked.
Yeah. So, wild gorilla. Do you think a gorilla in the wild doesn't have to fight for his survival?
Oh, 100% does.
Right? Like any fucking wild animal does. So, there are not very many humans that are having to fight for their survival on a day-to-day basis.
No.
Not at least
not
your
to
average
their extent.
Yeah, not your average human being, right? You're going to tell me that after the first, we'll say 10. I'd push to 20, but we'll say 10. The first 10 guys run in a wave, assuming that they are strategic enough to try to wear it out.
Yeah.
going in waves. They're not going to watch those first 10 motherfuckers run in and just get absolutely fucking ripped apart by this gorilla. And I mean ripped apart. A gorilla could literally grab you, upper body, lower body, and rip you in half. Like it's nothing. They can just, without blinking, just bend bamboo, right? Like, they are so strong.
Yeah.
That you're not just going to dead. And the other 90 that are the next group of 10 or 20 that's supposed to rush in after, it's not going to be like, oh, what do we get ourselves into? That literally happens in war.
Yeah.
That happens
That's
in
what I was
war
gonna bring
where
up is-
men are trained to go into battle. They see something happen in front of them because you can't train for that. You can't train for the real life actual happening, right? Men go into battle, see something happen in front of them, and they go the other fucking way. I'm not saying it's all war and all militaries. I'm just saying, like, that is a human response
instinct
to fear.
Yeah.
It is fight, flight, or freeze. Not every single one of 100 men together on average is going to have the fight response.
Yeah.
And even if they did, I still don't think they're fucking winning that.
That's why I volunteered to go in that first wave and just get it done.
Just kill me. Just kill me. I don't want the anticipation.
I volunteer.
I don't want the anticipation. I don't want to be in group 7. Fucking sitting back like, yeah, hey, I don't want to, can I bow out now, please? I don't want to be a part of this. I
me
just watched 65 dudes get their assholes ripped out of their mouth. I don't want this. No thanks.
No,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
That didn't go how I thought it was gonna, but
it was
still
fun.
went good.
Yes. Exactly.
Hell yeah. Timmy,
All right, man.
episode 49, dog.
Episode 49.
Coming up on a milestone here.
Number 50.
Let's fucking go.